Hey, Steve Mignoni here doing the Junkyard Crawl at Bernardstown Auto Wrecking in Bernardstown, Massachusetts with a international Travelall. This one's a 1966, and this is the third generation Travelall built between 61 and 68. But before we get into this one, let's remember that International made trucks between 1907 and 1980. In fact, this brochure here is from 1946, and we can see on the cover here historical facts about early International Harvester automotive vehicles. We can see here the horses panicking as the horseless buggy right here makes its way by. And of course, we can see the loose load falling off the back of that International wagon buggy. But if we look inside of this, we can see that thing right there. That is one of the first auto wagons made in 1907 by International. These things were revolutionary. You can see it's half farm wagon, half vehicle. The engine's underneath the driver. It's got a chain drive, and these actually were some of the first trucks, the auto buggy. So we got to remember that International Harvester didn't just make tractors and big construction equipment. They started out making light vehicles and trucks. But we get into the 1950s, and of course by 1953, International says, you know what, that Chevy and GMC Suburban has been alone in the market long enough. We're going after it. So the Suburban, of course, as we know, started in the 1930s, one of the longest running vehicles. And that was basically a passenger vehicle on a light truck chassis. Well, Suburban was the bogey for Travelall, and International took them on pretty good. Now here's the thing. The Suburban had 3 doors. Travelall had 4, so that was a big difference. Suburban, of course, did get 4 doors in 73, but before that, there were 3-door vehicles. Kind of weird, so a little bit awkward. But this one, again, this 1966, is a 2-wheel drive model. We'll get into that in a second. Before we open the hood, here it is right here, the classic International Harvester logo. It does a few things. Brooks Stevens, of course, designed this. Here's the International, here's the H for Harvester, or here's the farmer on his tractor coming right at you. And again, this came along in the 1940s, this logo here, but under the hood, okay, this one has the V8. Standard equipment on this would have been a 240 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine, but for an additional $120, the 288 cubic inch V8, or $180, the 304 cubic inch V8. And they kind of look the same. But again, the International V8 could be had all the way up to 392 cubic inches with a stop at 345. These are tough engines. So this one here has the oil bath air cleaner, heavy duty stuff. This is the base for it. This structure here would live inside, and that's the oil would be inside of that. Now this is a 2-barrel right here, but we can see the International manifold is big enough to have 4 holes drilled into it or bored into it. This is the 2-barrel, but again, this massive cast iron intake manifold was capable of going either way. Now this one's kind of neat. It's a 1/2 ton. These were available as 3/4 or halves, but this one's not a 4-wheel drive. It's a 2-wheel driver, but it's loaded out. Good air conditioning right here, a York compressor right there, Borg Warner York, and it does have, has it got power steering? Yeah, got power steering. Dual circuit brakes right here, or perhaps that's the clutch. But anyway, this one is a 1/2 tonner, 2-wheel drive. Now the 2-wheel drive, the base price on it was $2,769, but for an additional $569, you could get 4-wheel drive. But on this one, we can see clearly the 2-wheel drive hub. There's no 4-wheel drive. That's a dead axle, so to speak. This has leaf springs and a beam up front, but again, you could get 4-wheel drive for an additional $569. But this thing is duded out with all kinds of dealer add-ons. Look at this right here. The West Coast mirrors on this have International logos. These are factory items right here, not add-ons from the parts store. This is actually International Harvester stuff. Now again, the carryall had 4 doors on both sides, whereas the GMC and Chevy Suburbans only had 3 doors, which kind of made getting in the back a little bit awkward from one side or the other. But these were strictly 4 doors. And here's something cool here. Car Life magazine right here, May of '62, with a International Travelall road test inside. Let's have a peek and see what they had to say about Travelall. And here is, oh, where's the rundown on this thing? Here we go. Yeah, right here. Now this is when the 62, so this is again the third generation right here, and we can see they have utility returns to the station wagon field. Current station wagons probably should more probably be called station sedans or country sedans a la Ford. The more wagonish aspects having disappeared not long after World War II. For those whose automotives need dictate the old-fashioned type of wagon, there is a whole family of vehicles available. One of the more outstanding ones in this group is the Travelall, International Harvester Company's answer to the problem of how to carry all your eggs in a single basket. Interior dimensions are a good deal larger than those of the usual station wagon. It has a brute massiveness that implies that it cannot be broken. Indeed, after road testing one, we doubt that it would break under even the most abnormal usage. We can see the pictures. They put it through trails, they forded a stream, and did all kinds of extreme things. Now this is a two-wheel drive, this one here, the one they're showing, and on the next page they have more data here. They see here the standard transmission weighs 60 pounds, overdrive adds 30.5 pounds, the heavy-duty 3-speed weighs 126 pounds, the 4-speed 154 pounds, and the automatic 231 pounds. Again, those are all cast iron transmissions. And here on the right, inside the Travelall is enough hip, shoulder, and headroom to carry the first two squads of the Boston Celtics, or in the two-seat version, the first squad and the coach, and a gross of inflated basketballs. Kind of weird way to summarize the cargo capacity. But again, inside, we can see right here a commodious, yes, I said it again, interior, massive. These could, I believe, be had with a 3-row seating. This one is a double row with potentially room for probably 8 people if you really cram them in here. Certainly 6 or 7. The floor we can see is flat, kind of a nice no step up or step down, nice big flat load surface here. Rubber floor mats on this one, very basic stuff. And in fact, Shane, if you want, poke through the window and I'll meet you on the other side. This one has a lot of nifty features inside. Yeah, and we can see this one, okay, it's a 3-speed manual right there. So this one has the 3-speed, there's the clutch pedal down low. Has an AM radio, again it's an international item. An international air conditioner, here's the other end of that York system with the international logos. This was definitely either dealer add-on or factory, not cheap in 1966. And you see the floor right here, this block-off plate right here, tells us the same transmission stamping was used on pickup trucks and Travelalls. And with a manual transmission or 4-wheel drive, this block-off plate would be gone and you'd see all the linkage down here. So again, but another thing here, look at this, the electric trailer brake, that thing right there. This one was definitely used for trailering. This is an add-on trailer brake right there, which would allow the trailer home or the boat trailer, whatever it might be, to be more controllable as you pulled or pushed on that. And you know, other knobs and things we see here is the vent on this side here, the wipers. And here's the choke, a manual choke. This little thing right here, you pull this out, and that basically sets the choke plate in the carburetor so it has a richer cold start. Just remember to push it back in so you don't run down the street making clouds of stink behind you. Kind of cool, this one, the originality of this thing is amazing. With all this paperwork right here, here is the tag for the factory radio, the radio serial number, basically a warranty tag for that. Here is the original operator's manual for the Travelall and the pickup truck. Same basic platform, so the same manual could do double duty. Again, all the instructions on how to work your controls inside and do's and don'ts. And kind of cool, I believe this one here, the bill of sale is still here. What's this, what do we have here? This is a line setting ticket. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. This is the build sheet, the DNA for this thing. Line setting ticket is international speak for a build sheet, like a Corvette. And we can see here it has the frame and bumper, tubular tire carrier, etc., all this stuff right here. And this is basically priceless stuff. And just such original and nice stuff seen. The owner's service policy right here, the original warranty card right here. And Clifford Ray bought this vehicle from Wilbraham, Massachusetts on December 23rd, 1966. Happy birthday to me, he probably sang to himself when he took this thing home and showed his family. Now this one here, being a 2-wheel drive, was certainly not used for plowing, but rather we can add up some clues. That trailer brake under the dash right there tells us, as well as the air conditioning, this probably was used to haul that family around on some fun summertime trips. And here at the back, of course, here's the massive trailer hitch right here, which certainly would carry a 5-ton trailer without any trouble at all. And on the back of this, we also see the optional tailgate. Standard would have been swing out doors, like a barn door type deal. So again, the International Travelall, these were made through 1975. And this one here is a 3rd generation, built between 61 and 68. And again, lots of room. And unlike a more traditional American station wagon, a Plymouth Fury or a Chevy Chevelle, whatever, which is much smaller, you have to creep inside. These things, you could sit up tall inside. Basically, it's a light truck with a station wagon body. And again, the only competition for this thing initially was the Chevy Suburban, and of course GMC Suburban. Now there would be some competitors similar to this thing as you move into the 1970s, 80s, but again, the International Travelall, often forgotten in the buildup of vehicles. Now these things here are kind of cool. Speaking of Travelalls, here is a 2nd generation right here, 1959. And you can see it's similar, but not the same. And again, it's based on pickup truck front grille styling. And it says here, the roomier, zoomier successor to the station wagon, ideal for business, pleasure, sports, farm use. Let's take a peek inside this thing and see what they have to say. Yeah, look at that trailer it's pulling right there. That's some serious pulling capability. And again, it's a Gen 2, 58 through 60. And on the lower left, bigger, heavier loads. Wagons were big sellers, but smaller inside. We can see here on the left, the typical Studebaker wagon. On the right, that's the Travelall right there. And again, V8s or 6-bangers were optional. Now we got to remember too that International is largely known for making stuff like this. Of course, Ertl made a great model kit of the International Pay Hauler 350, a V16 powered monster earth mover. So International made big stuff and little stuff like this Travelall. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. Tell your friends, share the video, and be sure to ring the bell so that you're aware the next video comes out, which is tomorrow morning.